Hello, and welcome to episode 35 of Body, the Cloud9 Fancast. Tonight we'll be discussing Cloud9's busy yet disappointing weekend, starting off with the other esports results, and then transitioning to the LCS Spring 2017 finals match. I'm your host, Havoc Puss, and today I'm joined by...
Frozen Creek. Everyone lost this weekend. Unicorns love. Misfits lost. FlyQuest lost. Cloud9 lost. So, fuck it.
Pie Magic Man. My senior design team lost.
Oh wow, just everyone's losing today. What? Everyone's losing this week.
Trey, I don't have anything to say that I lost, but, I probably lost somewhere. I take L's all the time, so it just doesn't faze me.
He lost his heart.
Yes. Basically,
Yeah.
this is Bodied Everyone Wants to Die edition.
Die more than normal.
Oh, man.
Die more than normal. That's a good way to put it. So we got a long night ahead of us. So let's jump right into this other esports business. Call of Duty played over the weekend in the CWL Pro League, and they played abysmally. They went 1-5. Kind of, I'm not really surprised considering the past few events they've been at MLG Dallas and such. They've just been getting completely stomped. I'm curious to see when it will be the final straw and they start to actually make roster changes, because the team just doesn't seem to be working together, and it's really hurting them there.
Yeah, it's just... There's not much we could do. I don't think the roster is just playing together. I don't know how their practice is going, but it's unfortunate to see.
Yeah, I remember watching Aches stream a scrim match once, and I watched it, and they tilt super easily, and they're pretty quick to argue with each other. So they really need to try to find some way to come back together as a team. Hopefully they can work it out. But you never know. Moving on to Overwatch, Cloud9 debuted their new Overwatch roster. That's a tongue twister. In the Overwatch Rumble. If you're not up to date on the Overwatch stuff, they added Selly and Zephyr to the roster. They're some Korean players. After going 2-1 in the group stage, they lost 0-2 to Rogues to put them in the losers bracket, where they lost 1-2 against LG Evil. So kind of unfortunate, but this is the first time the new roster is playing in an official capacity, so there's probably still work to be done. But from what I did see, they look pretty good, actually.
There's definitely going to be some cohesion issues, especially with coming in with imports, as we've seen so much in League. A big thing to note is that loss to Rogue. Rogue then went on to 2-0 Envy, and then win the whole thing 3-2 over Envy, so it's not like losing to Rogue should be anything embarrassing. They had a wonderful tournament.
Oh, yeah. And, Envy's supposed to be one of the big dogs in Overwatch, right?
Yes.
Historically, if you can count a year or two of Overwatch as historic.
It's all history now.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm correct.
I watched a little bit of it. I watched them lose to Immortals. I'm really excited for Overwatch, as I'm going to try and get my girlfriend to watch.
Girlfriend Overwatch.
No, she'll just play it while I watch, which is what normally happens.
Okay. Well, there's watching involved in some capacity. The Bangalore team played in Week 2 of the VG8. Cloud9 beat Immortals 2-0, but lost to TSM. They did win the third place match against Tribe Gaming, so that currently puts them in third place in the point standings for Worlds. So hopefully they can continue to play well and maybe secure themselves a spot.
TSM is always our crutch.
It's not fair.
Yeah, and TSM, I believe, is the team to beat in Vainglory also.
Yeah, TSM has one of the best.
Maybe not.
TSM and Hammers.
Yeah,
maybe
TSM and
not-
Hammers are like the best teams.
Yeah, maybe not quite like SKT, but like basically.
Like Moscow 5.
Yeah.
Season 2 Moscow 5.
All right. How about CS:GO?
Yes, CS:GO. So CS:GO competed in the CS Summit
Swag.
with Swag. Hashtag free Brax, you guys, because he played instead of Skadoodle. And after falling to SK Gaming the first round of the winners bracket, they fell to the losers. They beat Ninja in Pajamas 2-0 in round 2, only to fall to Optic in the third losers round. They did lose, but I do think that they looked pretty good with Swag there. And
There also needs to be a correction. They beat Optic 0-2 in the quarterfinals, then lost to SK 2-1 in the semis.
oh, okay. I looked it up and I got kind of confused, I guess. Thanks for that.
All good.
But yeah, they looked pretty good with Swag. I really want to see him play more now.
Pyre Trade. Did either of you guys watch this?
Yeah, I watched the Optic series, and like we should have won the third game. We lost the third game 16-14. It was honestly just us playing uncoordinated, and that could just be like we didn't know how to use Swag properly, or that could have just been we weren't hitting our shots. But there was a lot of rounds where we should have won, so it was kind of unfortunate. We did
It's
look
gotta be
pretty good
weird
though.
from having a like dedicated opper to flexing someone to the op role. I know Stewie's a great opper, but like from having someone who's so good on it just to someone who's still pretty good but not normally what they do, it's got to change up the dynamic a lot.
Yeah, and how did Swag look?
He looked good. Like, the kid's got potential. It's really sad that Valve's just like, nah, you can't play. But
Well, that's
It
okay.
happens.
He'll probably get unbanned around the same time that Half-Life 3 comes out, so thank you, Volvo.
Haha. The memes. Very nice. So the final other esports news, which I found actually very interesting, the H1Z1 team competed in their first ever event at the CW's Fight for the Crown event. CW, like the TV channel, sponsored an event for H1Z1. And Cloud9 got 14th place. It was really weird to watch. It was interesting, but at the same time, kind of felt like what CW was doing kind of made the viewing experience not as good. But it was cool to see like H1Z1 on TV.
yeah, it reminded me a little bit of how E-League was on TBS, and that kind of was cool. It really sucks that we played like shit, but it happens. So
Alright, Havoc, for those of us who didn't watch, definitely not me, like, because definitely Pie Magic Man totally watched and is not asking for any other reason. But how exactly does a round of competitive H1Z1 work?
Well, Pie Magic Man, I'll answer this question for your friend who did not watch H1Z1, but you totally did. Basically, it's just one round. It's a best of one kind of thing. You have like 15 teams of 5, so you have like 75 players, and it's kind of like Hunger Games basically. So you get put in a plane, and then you jump out of that plane with a parachute, and then you land somewhere, and then you just have to survive and see who's like the last person standing, and that basically means like a team can get first place with only having one member. So like theoretically, like Cloud9 could lose 4 of their guys, and one person could still be alive and kill everyone else, and then Cloud9 would then get first place. So it's basically like battle royale.
Alright, so it's the king of the kill mode is the competitive mode.
Yes. It was pretty neat. I thought it was kind of cool. A lot of people died to the toxic gas. Toxic gas was definitely the MVP of that match, because more people were
just didn't want to move.
more people were dying from that than actual like
Singed OP.
players.
All right. H1Z1's cool, but we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, let's get on to the LCS finals. So before we get
Well-
to the what?
No. You said LCS finals. I was like, wait.
Let's unwind for a second. We'll start with Phoenix 1 FlyQuest.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
this is
yes.
one at the Bird of Life. I guess the Phoenix came on to the stage and carried P1 to victory.
And that Phoenix was named Inori.
I am in a pigeon, but that too.
Yeah,
I mean, very true.
I thought
I
it was
guess
kind of. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay. I thought it was kind of cool that like Inori rose up after everyone was chanting like put Meteos back in, and to go from the crowds kind of dogging you for your play, but he rose up above it and ultimately won them the series. Was pretty cool. It was actually a fairly exciting match. I was kind of expecting Phoenix 1 to just completely beat Fly down, but it was really nice to make it somewhat competitive.
It was super frustrating watching Altec play without a QSS.
Oh my
when
god, he missed
was
so many
like a
arrows
walking-
too.
Yeah, he was like a walking magnet of ash arrows, and he still never bought a QSS.
Yeah, I was hoping to see like his Mordekaiser come out, or some like really cheeky picks just because it's FlyQuest, and they would want to make the series more fun, but we didn't really see anything. Inori did bust out the Ivern, his favorite pick.
Yeah, it's super strong right now. I wish that we picked it up this weekend, but it is what it is. So what do you guys think this means for next split? Is it worrying for P1 that they could barely beat FlyQuest in a best of 5, or is this something that FlyQuest can look back upon and be like, that is our high point?
Nah,
I mean,
Or any other a number of scenarios. Start with Trey.
I think both teams come out of this with a positive outlook. P1 got third. They finished third regular season. They lost to C9, who was right next to TSM. And, like, C9 was clearly better prepared for P1. And that could have been a bunch of different things. They were still working out the kinks. Once they chose their starting support, and they've chosen their starting jungler, and they stuck by that, they looked good. So I think they are happy with that, and they can improve with that 5-man roster for next year. FlyQuest, I think they're happy because they were seen as an underdog, and okay, you lost to TSM. TSM won, and then you took P1 to 5 games. And that was a close series, so like you can't really be mad at that.
Yeah, you have the team who's like supposed to be like 10th or 9th place relegated, and they're going to game 5 in the 3rd place match. That's amazing for them. It shows that like all those players aren't washed up, and I hope it like motivates them to have a nice summer split. And it definitely helps in the long run for FlyQuest too, since all the VCs saw they did well, so that might help them get a little bit more support than they had this regular season. And for Phoenix 1, you had the story of them going like from being a bottom tier team at LCS to now they're 3rd. Inori went from being the savior of P1 at the end of last split to this trash who should be replaced by Meteo, back to like, oh man, this guy is really good in the jungle, and that's really good that he got to make that comeback.
He, like the pigeon, rose from the ashes.
Yes.
The one. Oh, go on.
Yeah. You gotta wait your turn. Yeah, I mean, pretty much what they said. I think it's even funnier just considering Monty sent out that tweet before the season started saying like, "Oh, look out! FlyQuest is about to get 10th place," and now it's like, well, they played in the playoffs. They got 4th. What are you doing?
He literally said they were worse than Coast.
Are they worse than Renegades though?
Oh.
I mean, I don't know what Renegades are. I know of Relegades.
Oh, true. For me, I think that the biggest distinction is where does FlyQuest go from here? If they sub out high, there's obviously gonna be a very long learning period. But I think if they want it to be successful, they need to get out Lemonation and Balls to start bringing in new blood while high can still play in LCS.
I think comments like that is exactly the opposite of what FlyQuest is. Like, there aren't this team who's coming to make waves and like of course they want to be the best, but they're this old group of players who enjoy playing the game and they still want to show that they're LCS caliber, and that's kind of shitty of the fans to assume that like, oh, they should trade out players to become better. They showed us that they're still a good team. Like I said, I think the big thing is if they get a nice support staff, they could improve even more. They got 4th. They're not awful.
Well, what people haven't realized yet, I think, High has never missed Worlds while he was playing mid lane. In fact, High has never missed Worlds while he was playing. So, I mean, neither has Balls, but that's just something to think about.
Yeah. Let's move on to EU. What did you guys think of EU as a whole? Did it go exactly as expected? Was there anything that arose like a Misfits pick and ban phase that completely bamboozled you guys?
No, I think EU. It was just like it was interesting, but I didn't. It kind of went as expected for me. Like, Fnatic played well, right? But I don't know.
I don't think Misfits played all that bad. I just think that the staff didn't set them up to succeed in that series, and it really showed in their lack of they just didn't seem like all that prepared on stage when it came to flexibility across 5 games. Well, I guess 3 because they got clocked, but
I mean, they also gave Reckless Kinnan all 3 games.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's something you don't want to do.
And they also gave over Iron the first 2 games.
I'm actually kind of impressed by Fnatic, just that, you know, they took Broxa, who was just kind of like their challenger academy jungler, and then they swapped him out for Amazing, and he's been looking better and better slowly every week, and then playoffs happened, and he looked really good. So I'm actually kind of curious to see how Fnatic transitions into the summer, and if they keep him on as like the starting jungler, because he seems to really click well with everybody. I can't remember much of the Misfits series. I will say that I'm kind of disappointed that Unicorns of Love didn't put up much of a fight. They kind of got crushed. They went 3-1, and I was just kind of hoping that they would make it a tougher series.
I mean, it was kind of as expected. It seems that any Western team that Weldon coaches, it just becomes a juggernaut.
I mean, G2 has done so well in EU notoriously anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
I think TSM versus G2 is going to be a big thing if TSM makes it into the group stage, because we cannot assume.
Yeah.
The best part about that series was the mascot war and Unicorns of Love's.
Oh yeah, that was so awesome.
The mascot was so sick.
I wish we had a
Body paint
mascot.
was so much fun. He was hyping up the crowd, and I think that's one thing that I would like to see in NA is more like dedicated fan bases, more towards like a specific team, because it seems a lot more if fluid here. When if there's like a Unicorns of Love fan, they're like exclusively a Unicorns of Love fan.
I don't know what you're talking about. The mascot, we already have a pigeon.
Yeah, for game 4.
And we have Sneaky, lol.
Sneaky is our great mascot. He is super pretty. Any final thoughts on EU? Because we gotta get this train rolling here. Okay.
EU in 2017, lol. I really hope they don't beat the shit out of us at MSI.
All right. Yeah. Let's
I
hope.
do.
Let's hope G2 continues that trend of completely throwing internationally. Anyway, so the main event, guys. TSM played against Cloud9. I know we're all bummed. I know us, everyone in the fandom or the fan base or whatever is fairly sad that we lost, but I gotta say, the team went from like, getting 2-0 stomped to coming back and making it a really close game 5. So as far as like opening statements, I just want to say that good job to them for making it a really close series.
Yeah,
But-
what did you guys think about playing Array only on blue side in games 1, 3, and 5, especially in game 5 where it was a do or die game and it was his first time up there in such a pressure situation?
I think Reaper just had a strategy, and he stuck by that strategy, which, I mean, it worked after the awful game 2, which I think it was fine to put Ray back in game 2, and I understand playing Ray game 1. But I really would have liked to see Impact more. I feel like Impact did actually do better in the series. Like, Game 4 just went so well. It was the only game where we looked dominant.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I think if I was to change like one thing about Game 5, it would probably be putting Impact in versus Ray, because I think.
I actually disagree with that, though.
Oh, really? Well, my thinking is that Impact he's able to communicate and coordinate with the team a bit better, and I think maybe like his shot calling during fights and stuff, I think maybe could have helped us out a little bit more. Why do you think we should have stuck with Ray for Game 5?
I think you stick with Ray. Like, the Kled pick was good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue
It
the
was a
Kled pick.
great first pick, and we wanted to play something strong so we could accelerate the game, right?
Yeah,
So-
I don't hate or love the pick. I think it was a good pick.
I think it was a good pick. I think it
Yeah.
was a good pick.
I don't think it was like optimal maybe, but it was a good pick.
I mean, it was an initiation.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
I think works. It's indifferent whether you think it was good or bad, but I personally like the pick. I think everything was going good until that last team fight. And like, if you erase that last team fight from the game, you say Cloud9 wins that game like 99% of the time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they had Baron, and they were pretty much poised to just end it, but TSM took a risky chance, and it paid off.
They bought into the TSM risk, and it messed them up.
Yeah.
Well, also the mid lane, it wasn't pushed, so TSM could go up to Elder and try and threaten it, because we can walk straight up to mid base and take it because of the minion wave.
See, but it took so long for them to take it. We easily could have gotten at least an inhib and possibly a Nexus tower and traded that and then just tunneled or turtled the.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I think that would have been optimal, and I think even picking that fight, the one that Jensen died in without doing anything. I think if you pick that fight, they win that fight 65%.
I think they
of the
win it
time
9
at
times
least.
out of 10. Jensen doesn't get caught. That's a one fight.
Yeah, really, he
It's a
just got
second.
stun locked and he couldn't press his ultimate. So if he could press his ultimate, he probably would have been fine, and then we would have won. But he just couldn't do it. He couldn't press the button fast enough, and that was That was really the only thing that kept us from losing the fight.
He had less than half a second. He got bursted down with over 2100 health. That was the shield from his parallel convergence and his health bar in less than half a second. If you think anything's going to burst you down that fast or have the reaction to get Zhonya's off in less than half a second, I would love to see that.
I mean, Syndra's just broken. I don't think how you can watch this series and then just go, Syndra's totally balanced.
I mean,
her double ultimate stream.
Yeah.
He didn't build MR, to be fair. He only had
No,
Merchants.
yeah. I mean, that's also fair, but, like, it just, like, watching, like, especially in, like, game 2, Sneaky just, like, walking, like, Bjergsen just runs up to Sneaky and presses one button, and he's just, like, instantly dead, and there's not really, like, any sort of, like, counterplay, quote unquote.
I mean, to be fair, game 2 was a disaster.
Also true. Also true.
I think I was letting Syndra through banning phase a good idea in game 5. Like, we banned Rumble, Ashe, and Ivern.
I think letting Syndra through is fine. I think the only thing I'm questioning is if we should have given Jensen something other than Echo, like maybe Orianna instead, to kind of give the team a little bit more utility. I don't know.
The thing is, we first picked the Echo. Jensen wanted that pick. He could have gone for the Syndra, because they were on blue side.
Okay, so one of the things about Echo is that after 6, it becomes a counter pick to Syndra. He has a tougher laning phase because obviously melee versus Syndra is not going to be fun. But after 6, you can, if Syndra targets you with her ult, you can just erase it with your R, which is a big deal. And based off of game 4, with how fast they snowballed it, bringing in Ray, picking that Kled, and like going for those risky early dives, I think their plan was to try and snowball the game as fast as they did. For if they could play the same style they did in game 4, TSM fell behind. That was a comp that was ready to just take the game super fast. Unfortunately, because it got late, TSM had a much better scaling comp, and that's kind of why that Elder Dragon team fight happened and was so unfortunate.
True. I want to shift away from the Elder Dragon fight and kind of talk about individual performances, because I think this is probably the strongest Cloud9 has ever looked, and I think this is like...
Not true.
Not true? I think they look extremely good.
Maybe this iteration of Cloud9, but I'm sorry. Season 3 Summer, easily the best version of Cloud9. Like,
Yeah,
if
fair.
they ban Cassidy, they easily make it to semis of Worlds.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm gonna start off just by saying that I think where TSM it really played well, a lot better than us, or not a lot better than us, but better than we expected. Was through Svenskeren. I thought he played very, very well this series.
Yeah, his Ivern was really good.
It was dirty.
Yeah, he was making a lot of really good plays, and they were always hitting towards the top side of the map, because Hanser's been playing really well lately, and they want to really snowball off of him, kind of. And our strategy is kind of different, where Contracts kind of hangs around mid and bottom more. So they kind of know, like, well, Contracts isn't going to be here as much, so let's just kind of get the top laner behind and put us in a really nice spot. So I really like that decision making.
Can I segue this for a little bit? Talking about Svenskeren, I want to talk about this game 1. A lot of people were blaming Contract and Ray for it, but I don't think they're giving enough credit to Svenskeren for he put a massive amount of vision in our jungle, and he completely counter jungled the top side or top blue side jungle. So if Contracts even wanted to go top, that's such terrible pathing, because he either has no camps to get on his way up there or his way back, as well as he's ganking a lane that's already behind that Svenskeren has been camping. So if he goes up there to gank, there's a very high chance that both of them die. So was entirely risky for him to go topside, and Svenskeren completely neutered that as a play in total, where people are just going to blame Contracts for not going up there defending or Ray for not looking out for that. I think Svenskeren did a really good job to set up that situation.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that counterplay comes into is Smoothie roaming with contracts a little bit better. If you know that Svenskerens is just gonna be topside, then you can set up a ward to clear out vision. But saying that, I still think that Ray played well on Kennen. He almost soloed Hanser at one point down like a level, like 3 kills and an assist.
Yeah, did you guys see some of his jukes from
Yeah, it was so sick.
the Camille dash thing? It was I don't think I've ever seen like players dodge them so much and like so effortlessly, but Ray was doing that like so much, and he even solo killed Hanser in game 5 a couple of times. I was really impressed with the mechanics Ray was putting up in this series.
And I think he should have solo killed Hanser on that one play in game 1, but
Oh yeah, where the shield like fucked with him because it went to AD or something, I think.
it was that, and I think he went into his little lightning ball when he should have just kept autoing.
Yeah. Either way,
right at like the very, very, very end.
Yeah, they were both really low, so it was kind of like you have to be really fast about it. But he played really well. I also think Contract showed really good fortitude for a rookie. I mean, this is his first finals and his first time being in like a huge stadium, but he was able to keep his composure, and he played, I think, a little better each game in the series.
Pi Magic Man, what do you think it was like the highest point for Cloud9 in this series?
If there's anything but game 4, then I would love for someone to inform me. Like, they completely bullied out everyone on TSM. Gents, like...
Oh, and the bait with the Gragas
that
pick?
was...
Oh, it was just game
That
4
was
was
so
We
brutal.
need to talk
I
about
was gonna shit
Smoothie's
my
Gragas, because that was amazing that not only one did he pick the support Gragas, 2, he looked really good on it.
Yeah, and that was just a really odd pick and ban from TSM also. So that Gragas was a good pick because they had a lot of protection. Granted that they picked a fucking illusion though, but I thought that pick was fucking awesome.
hell yeah.
Yeah, I think Smoothie really played out of his mind. I think even though we lost, everyone played well and they gave it all they had. They just misplayed one fight. It's unfortunate, but I think we still have to commend them for the fact that they made it so incredibly
I'd
close.
like to make one big distinction for the fans. You can't... There's difference between wanting to be the best and, like, supporting your team. Like, they put up a fucking hell of a fight. Of course we want to be the best, but you don't have to shit on them just because they weren't first. Like, you can support them still.
Second place is just as good. And speaking of, I kind of want to transition a little bit and talk about this split. Was it a success or a failure? So last split, just kind of giving you guys a little bit of picture of what happened last split. We finished 3rd in the regular season standings. The playoffs, we went all the way to the finals and went 1-3. I don't think anyone on our team made the All-American team. At least the number 1 team. I know we got people in like 2 and 3, but no one I think made the number 1 spot. This split, we got 2nd place, so we moved up a whole nother rung for the regular season. For playoffs, we made it to the finals and had an incredibly close 5-game series against our bitter rivals. Smoothie made the All-American team by an incredibly wide margin, and Contracts and Reaper got Rookie and Coach of the Split, respectively.
Trey, I'll let you start with this one.
I think, all things considered, with how much we had going against us, I think this split could probably be seen as a success. I will can't really say success or failure. What I would do is put it on a grade scale, right?
Okay.
This is like a B plus.
Hey, B plus is pretty good. I made a lot of B pluses in college.
Like, that's pretty good. There's definitely still room to improve, and like, if you were expecting an A, you didn't get it. But a B plus is better than what we did last year spring, which was a C minus.
Yeah.
So,
And I think you kind of also have to consider Cloud9's situation this split. You know, we had a rookie jungler, and we had a substitute top laner come in who hadn't really had a lot of experience, and you know, we kind of want to build him up as potentially like the next big thing whenever Impact kind of steps away. So, you know, Ray, he played with Apex as a top laner, but besides that, he hasn't had like a lot of, you know, long time experience starting and playing. But I think considering to take Ray from what he looked like at the beginning of the split to now, I'd say that's pretty damn successful.
and I would agree.
As of now, Impact hasn't given any indication that he's going back to Korea after the split. It seems like he's staying on at least for the summer. For me, I think I would agree on giving it a grade rather than a success or failure. I would give it more towards like a B minus or a B, just because I don't think I want to call it great, but it was like it was like the minimum of what we could say and come away from the split being content. And if it would have gone in any worse, like we could start maybe calling it a failure. But I think that this was the weakest iteration of TSM that we could have faced, and we still didn't top them. And if they're bringing back Double Lift in the summer, fortunately they're not going to have Weldon that we know of, but I think that if we wanted to win a split, that this was our best chance.
I completely disagree.
I'm gonna go on the. It's definitely a grade ground, not quite success, not quite failure, because of course everyone was expecting C9, the unchanged roster, the one who got out of groups, to like dominate this split, and it was a little rocky. We still made it to finals. Our semifinals we stomped, which is really crazy to think that C9 and TSM both 3-0'd their semifinals. So just the gap, and they went to a game 5. So the gap between C9 and TSM and the rest of the teams is huge. One of the things though is TSM. You say it's its weakest iteration. You forget how much success Wild Turtles had. Yeah, he had a slump there, but he also played on like one of the best iterations of TSM. He played on Immortals, who went almost like, you know, lossless through a season. People act like Wild Turtle's a bad AD carry, and he's not. So I do think we put in a lot of hard work. It wasn't to people's expectations, but it was by no means a bad split.
And what
I
else?
don't want to say that it was bad. I just don't think that we saw a lot of the growth that we would have wanted to see throughout the split. Also, I think that's part of it. And when I say that it's TSM's weakest, or our best chance to win it over TSM in a while, I'm not saying that Wild Turtle's bad by any means. If you listen to our preview of the split, I gave him a lot of props, and a certain someone here was against him quite a bit. But I don't know. I just think that if we were going to win it, that this was our best chance. And that Double Lift, he's coming off a break. He's coming off... he might not have his whole heart into it either, so I don't know. But I think on paper that TSM is stronger with Double Lift than with Wild Turtle. Not that Wild Turtle's bad.
I can agree to you that, like, I don't think Wild Turtle is that good of an ADC. I'm going to be honest here. And I've said that, and I'll repeat that. Like, I think Wild Turtle's good, but he's not one of the best. What I will say, however, is there is no way that you put us with a rookie jungler and put a sub mid lane for a majority in the final games and then say, yeah, they beat TSM. Like, if you were to tell me that we play Ray most of the time in the finals at the beginning of the spring split, I would have called you crazy. I would have actually called you crazy because nobody thought Ray was going to integrate like he did. In fact, we didn't even think that last week. If we continue to integrate Ray and Contracts continues to improve at this rate, then I see us being the best team next split, regardless of how Doublelift does.
No, I didn't think that's fair. I just think that in the past, year or so, I started watching the end of spring split of season 5, I believe, and that was when we lost to TSM in a finals, and we've lost to them 2 or 3 more times since then. I just think that this was one of our best chances to get it as of now, and I think that TSM is going to get stronger, and I do think that we will too. I think that if we keep the same roster, that we're gonna be in another coin flip away from winning.
Another thing to remember is the team that has won summer has always gone on to win the next spring, and that team has never gone on to win the next summer.
Okay, that's fair.
We got a chance now.
The one thing that gets me excited is seeing how heartbroken Jensen was to lose twice. Because I think that that's only going to spur him on to be that much better, and I think that he does have potential to grow, because all he's done is lost, and I think that he's one like those special people who has to win, or he's gonna keep working his ass off over and over and over until he is the best.
Yeah. Yeah, if I can butt in and kind of praise Jensen just a little bit. He, when he came on, he was looking pretty terrible. He was getting pushed under turret. He was behind CS a lot, and he was really struggling. Now he's like the most lane dominant, mid lane player in the NA LCS, and everyone's like terrified to play against him. And he's just aggressive, and I don't think he's gonna forget this moment. He's not gonna forget this pain, and he's gonna use it, and he's gonna come at Bjergsen, and he's gonna give it 110%, and he's gonna keep giving 110% because he's the best. That's all I have to say.
I don't want to give too much a discussion into next split, I guess, just because
We can probably do that next week.
Have like 2 or 3 months until Summer
I think
starts.
we wait until after MSI to start talking about that, because we don't know if any roster swaps are happening. We don't know if we're getting anybody extra.
Yeah, okay, yeah, true.
Yeah, and MSI play starts this week, I think.
Oh,
right?
yeah. That's very true.
It starts the 28th.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the thing is, MSI starts very quickly because of how they're doing the whole system. MSI actually starts before China has their finals,
That's
which I
actually
think is
pretty
super
funny.
interesting.
I do like the play-in stage. I think that
Yeah, me too.
that system is pretty nice because it gives every kind of region and like wildcard region like an equal opportunity to compete, instead of doing like the wildcard playoffs and making it kind of, well, only 2 kind of get in, and you kind of maybe not get a shot. So I really like this system.
Only 1 got in last year.
Oh,
So
Yeah,
the thing is, it guarantees at least 1 gets in this year, and it also gives them a chance to knock one of these big regions off. Like, NA could fall, or Taiwan could fall before they even get to the group stage, and that would have huge implications for Worlds.
Yeah.
So it just makes MSI a lot more meaningful.
Yeah. And that's exactly.
Yeah, we'll talk about that more next week, and then we'll probably switch to every other week until the split starts.
Yeah, that probably sounds good. Unless like a bunch of news or other esports happens or something, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think it's about time to go. I think we've rambled enough.
Yeah, we've drained the conversation enough. So, well, there's not any predictions.
My prediction is that NA is going to make it to the group stage at MSI.
I think Trey
true.
has something to rap about here.
To rap about?
Should I lay
you're
down a
wrapping
beat?
up. RAPPING.
Alright, Frozen, lay a sick beat for us. No, you gotta lay the beat. Come on,
well,
man.
I need a
Called
beat.
it.
I need a beat. We just want to thank you for listening to the 35th episode of Body, the Cloud9 Fancast. Feel free to tweet questions and feedback. Wait, what was that?
It's like I don't know.
Ruined. Everything's ruined.
my best
Throw it in the
here.
Took his
trash.
thing.
The rap's canceled. Maybe next time.
I was hoping for that super hot fire.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Follow us on Twitter at C9Bodied or email us at bodiedfancast@gmail.com. We'll answer any questions, talk about whatever you want to talk about, especially with off-season stuff. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you again next time. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Sleepy sheepy frozen.